Hey folks, I have finished Metal Gear Solid 2. Don't do this. If you're thinking of doing this, don't do it. I would advise against it. At a certain point it becomes cruel and unusual punishment. But I have some overall thoughts about the game, not only from the story perspective, but everything involved in it, and I have notes. Overall, this game still holds up. Interesting story, great characters, kind of crazy, stunning cinematography for some cutscenes, at times outdated controls, but overall, even in 2020, this game is worth playing. So something I really liked about the game was the story, full of twists and turns, betrayal, large geopolitical moves, high-level conspiracy. It's surreal at times, not making much sense with people like Vamp. I liked the ideas and philosophies put forth by characters. Snake's reason to keep fighting. You gotta find something internal. Your reason to keep going. I like that. MGS2 also sort of predicted the modern internet full of echo chambers. Find a group who agree with you and never leave the bubble. If a new piece of information doesn't fit your current worldview or narrative, ignore it. Convenient half-truths become fact and are repeated. Forward-thinking game which turned out to be true. The hopeful ending and the final speech by Snake is just fantastic. In this year, having Solid Snake give you some optimism for the future, it was rather welcomed. Some of my okays for MGS2 are mainly about the controls. They are outdated. There's no crouch walk. So you hit X to crouch. And then if you move anywhere with the analog stick, Snake goes into, or Raiden goes into a crawl. And if you press X again, he goes back up into a crouching position. Press X again, he comes back up to full stance. It's cumbersome. Some of the first person aiming isn't great either. The acceleration for the sniper rifle in particular is egregious at times, which really comes to bite me in the VR missions. But largely the controls are okay. Some finicky bits, but they're okay. Except for the hold up function. It requires so much from the controller. So fire is the square button. You push it down just a little bit. Snake or Raiden will bring up the weapon. You push down a little bit more than that, they'll say freeze. You push it down a little bit more than that, depending on the weapon. For example, an AK-47 or a machine gun, Snake or Raiden will just start blasting away. And some of the VR missions require you to hold up enemies with a machine gun. And the levels of pressure sensitivity on a PS3 controller, it's just not... I've watched some videos of people doing it. I don't know how. But pressure sensitivity on this controller, that in the main game you're fine, but some of the VR missions it really becomes an issue. So largely I'm okay. Dislikes. Feckin' escort missions and underwater levels. What the hell? This is transporting you right back to some of those awful game designs of the early 2000s. Everything involving Emma is dreadful. So much, in fact, I think you're meant to actively dislike her. As in, grab her by the hand, taking Granny for a walk, bring her underwater where you gotta come up for air, protect her with a sniping segment. It's all terrible. When every playthrough, of which I had to do 5, and it came to the Emma section, I audibly groaned every single time. Like, these next 20 or 30 minutes is just going to suck every single time. The VR and alternate missions, too many. It's great to get bang for your buck, but the requirement for the platinum means doing them all. 350 VR missions, 150 alternate missions. They range from just a minute in length to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, some of them even more. It's too much. They could have been halved or even a third of them and make them more interesting. A lot of them are just repetitive and not terribly interesting. So yeah, too many. My advice, do them for fun. Once it gets to the point of them being annoying, stop. Don't ruin the overall experience of MGS2 for yourself. In conclusion, great game, great story, some outdated controls which aren't enough to hinder the overall experience, and a game ahead of its time in stuff it was predicting. Fascinating game. Again, like the VR mission stuff, dabble, don't kill yourself, don't ruin things, and even 18 years after its first release, still a damn good game. As for when the Platinum Journey episode about MGS2 will be done, I'm aiming for end of this month, early next month. I've discovered something terrifying and rather interesting about Adobe Premiere thanks to Metal Gear Solid 2 and its limitations, Adobe Premiere's limitations on a laptop. Turns out, so what I like to do is I like to take all the footage after I've synced it all up between the microphone, the camera, the gameplay, and then put it onto the one timeline in the one sequence, just because it's a linear progression, so it kind of keeps in my head like that happens and then that. But on a laptop, Adobe Premiere, well, the current laptop in the specs I have, which is kind of a high-end laptop, the maximum a sequence can be is 24 hours. I blew past that. Not by much, but enough that I was trying to bring stuff down in the timeline and saying, well, why isn't it fitting? Why is it not going down? It turns out, yeah, I hit the limit. So this is the biggest project I've ever done. But I think it's going to be a good one. How about the runtime, the final runtime? I don't know. I don't think this will be some hour-long video. I don't think that, because I'm not going to put you through the repetitive VR missions like I had to go through, so I'm sure a whole heap of that will be cut. But yeah, I think it's going to be a damn good episode. I've went back through all the footage already, and yeah, it's got some good moments. Okay, those are my thoughts about MGS2. Play it, folks. Play it. And until next time, take care.